not going to find it. So, I've had a couple interesting experiences this past week. I can't believe it was only last week that was Pet's Memorial. It seems like that was weeks and weeks ago because I've been kind of busy. But it was a really nice service. Really enjoyed being able to be with, nice big group of people outdoors. But, there's stuff that I feel like I kind of forgot to talk about, too, on that day. And so I wanted to share one of those. Let's see if I can find it. Pet's Memorial 22. It's not there. Okay. As you know, one of my pets was on the list, right? Kismet. And Kismet was this really kind of amazing cat. She was 22 years old, right? So just really, really astounding. She wasn't my pet during that whole 22 years. When we got her, I've known her for about 20 years. She belonged to a family, one of my family members, but we only were taking care of her for like the last 4 years. And yet, that long connection with her and everything. So, I think that each time we lose a pet, it's different. And it's same with people, maybe, right? That with each pet, each animal, we have a different relationship. And we're different too, right? That I'm not, as much as I'm still me, 51 years later, I'm still Harry, right? And yet, changing all the time. Right? And so I think it's often through those relationships. I hope this doesn't sound too much like a Shotsky memorial talk, but some of this is kind of, in a lot of ways, what Buddhism is about, right? And that those relationships are maybe, in a way, how we measure who we are, right? That in the West, who am I? It's me, duh. In Buddhism, who am I? Well, who are we talking about here, right? Are we talking about me right now? Are we talking about me as caretaker for Kismet? Are we talking about me as bass player, right? That those are all me, and it's not that they're these kind of compartmentalized separate things, but they're all me, right? That they're all part of who I am. And so it was actually this morning, I think, I was thinking about Kismet. Because to be honest, I don't know if I didn't grieve. I haven't felt that grief yet of losing her, even though it's been almost 2 months, right? And in many ways, that's me, right? That I've seen that in myself in the past when I've lost loved ones, right? That for me, those emotions aren't something that just come up immediately, and that just express themselves, right? I think subconsciously I have a pretty tight rein on myself, and but this morning I was thinking about Kismet, and she actually lived with another animal, Olive, and Olive was a little black Pomeranian. So if you can imagine this black and white kitty, my cat Kismet, and or she wasn't my cat at that point, and then her buddy Olive, the Pomeranian. Right? And so, I kind of was thinking about them and realized Olive passed away this past year too. And so I realized, maybe they're at the Rainbow Bridge. Have you ever heard of that? The Rainbow Bridge? Right? And so this idea of the Rainbow Bridge is interesting. I learned about it after one of my previous cats, probably Sadie, passed away, maybe Sapphire. And it's this idea that when pets die, it's where pets go when they die. Right? And it's this kind of this place at the end of the rainbow, right? So that when your pets die, they go here, and they're at this place, the end of the rainbow, and they're kind of waiting for you. They're playing, right? The grass, and any food they want, and they, any of, like Kismet, her back legs weren't working so well by the end of her life, but now I'm sure she has full use of her legs. Maybe she even has her claws back because she was declawed, and she can just kind of be herself, be free, be Kismet at the Rainbow Bridge, waiting for me, maybe. But I kind of had this image of, Kismet and Olive, maybe they're at the Rainbow Bridge together, playing. And that was the first time I kind of felt it. Right? That was the first time that I felt that loss. And I can tell I'm not feeling it now. Like I was wondering, am I going to feel it now? And I can tell I'm not, which is interesting, right? That my emotions aren't, they're not in my control, and yet they're very controlled, if that makes sense, right? But this idea of the Rainbow Bridge is interesting. And the reason why I thought of it is because here we are, we're in America, right? And America isn't exclusively a Buddhist country. America isn't exclusively a Christian country. And even if it was, there's different kinds of Christians too, right? So even if it was exclusive a Christian country, it's definitely not exclusively a Catholic country, right? It's not exclusively Muslim, it's not exclusively Jewish, it's not exclusively Hindu. I mean, that's the great thing about America to me, the ideal of America, to be able to be all these different things. Now, the reason why I'm kind of talking about this is because I had the other experience that I had was that I spoke at one of our local Catholic high schools this past week. I was asked to speak to their world religions class. And they're studying. I was able to give to them a chapter from Reverend Dr. Kenneth Tanaka's book, Jewels, which is a great book. It's written for young people. And I was, she said, could you give me an article or something to read? And I was like, oh, I can't think of anything. And then it came up, oh, I could use that Jules book. Maybe that's perfect. It's for kids, teenagers, young adults, right? And so I copied one of the chapters from that and sent it to them. I don't think it was copyright infringement. They have it for free on their website, on the BDK website, so you can download it for free if you're interested. We have copies downstairs, actually. But I sent them a copy of the chapter on the Four Noble Truths, right? The Four Noble Truths. Life is suffering. Life can be difficult, number one. Number two, there's a cause. Okay? Number three, by removing the cause, you can remove the result. And then there's a path, number four. Right? So these Four Noble Truths explaining something about life, expressing that it's suffering, which can be kind of difficult to understand, and maybe we don't feel that all the time. This morning to the Dharma school, I was telling, to me, Dr. Tanaka in a different book calls it life is a bumpy road. Right? It's from the Think Big. Right? Life is a bumpy road. Things don't always go the way we want. Right? And that's another way maybe to understand this idea of life is suffering. So I sent the chapter in, and going to speak to high school kids is kind of, I get nervous. I don't know why. I feel like I'm back in high school or something. But I went in. Teacher was great, and then the students were supposed to ask questions. And sometimes, everyone just sits there, but one kid's like, I got a question. I was like, wow, okay. And he's like, the book says, ultimately we shouldn't be attached to life. What does that mean? I was like, oh my gosh. First question is about life and death. High school kids. Wow, this is amazing, right? And he was really into it, but other students were too. I was just really, really, I was going to say impressed, but I wouldn't say I'm impressed. I felt energized. I felt really energized by being asked all these questions about Buddhism, right? And being able to, dig into my stock of knowledge or whatever, but also experience. That it's not just intellectual stuff, right? It's also, it's a lived experience, I think, ultimately. Right? And so talking to these kids, man, it was just really, really inspiring, energizing, and interesting. Because some of them are Catholic. Some of them, one of them I think was kind of more one of the, what would you call it? Evangelical Christian kind of Christianity. I think others are probably not Catholic or even Christian. You don't have to be to go to this school, right? But it was so great to hear these different questions coming from their viewpoint, right? And so to hear their questions about the reading, and that was, interesting for me to be able to try and respond to that. So this thing, back to the Rainbow Bridge thing, I think is interesting because we're Pure Land Buddhist. That's what Jodo means in Jodo Shinshu. Jodo means pure land. Right? It's a kind of Buddhism centered on Amida Buddha. right? That Amida Buddha and his Pure Land, that's what we're aiming towards. That's what we turn towards. That's what our path is leading. It's called the Pure Land Path, Jodo Mon, or the Pure Land Gate. Right? And this path to the Pure Land, I think, gives us direction. One of the other questions that I got asked was, basically, what's the meaning of life? oh my gosh, I should have just said, 42 or whatever. But I couldn't just, I had to give an answer, right? What's the meaning of life? What's life about? And so I think the answer that I gave, I don't even really remember what I said, but maybe that'll be my main question. What's the meaning of life? Right? And so for me, as a Buddhist, well, one way I could give is the AKA from last week. Right? That to think that life, the Buddhist life, is to be aware, to be kind, and to have appreciation. Right? So awareness, kindness, and appreciation. And that doesn't sound like a meaning of life necessarily, right? But they're all kind of mixed together. I think part of it is, especially when you're younger, you don't think about the other, or I didn't think about the other people around me. I can't say anything about anyone else. Myself, as a young person, I was here. Oh my gosh, what do people think about me? Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Oh my gosh, what's going on? I just want to go to sleep. I just want to lock it all out. Right? That was me as a teenager. But the awareness, realize, oh my gosh, I'm able to be here because of my parents. These teachers are trying to teach me. Right? My friends are just being themselves and we're just hanging out. Right? And so even being aware of that, instead of being here, all of a sudden, oh, okay. Right? And that kind of awareness of what's going on around me. Buddhism then goes on with all this other stuff, right? All the different teachings, I think, are part of that, trying to be aware of what's going on. Aware of life, both my view, but then things maybe more as they are, as they truly are, simply as they are, which Reverend Endo talked about a few weeks ago. Right? That trying to see life not from my diluted perspective, but more from a bigger picture, from different perspectives, right? So that I can be more aware of that and break out of, just my ego. I think when we have that awareness of other people's feelings, of these other people, then the kindness kicks in, right? And that I don't think we're taught that in American society, to be kind necessarily. It's there, but I think most of the time it's take what you can get. Right, seems to be one of them. Or you should want to be famous, right? Or you should want to buy this stuff, right? How often do we hear a message of just be kind, right? Just be nice to people. And so that kindness, though, that's where I kind of went, is that I think that when that awareness is awakened, then to try and help others. Isn't that part of the meaning of life? Right? To break out of my ego and to try and help others. That's why, I think if you can be in one of the helping professions, right, of teacher or doctor or minister or whatever, right, it's really special because you get to do that as your job, right, to try and help others. And then the appreciation kicks in too, right, because then when we realize, oh my gosh, it's not just about me. Oh my gosh, all of this stuff has been happening behind the scenes that allow me to be here. Right? Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, thank you. Right? This appreciation or gratitude. And I think that's partly why we do our memorial services. This isn't the Shotsky, right? That when we do the memorial services, right, that's part of it, is to think about our loved ones. We do have the Shotsky book up there, if you haven't seen it, right? That we're going to do the Shotsky service later, so that book has the names of the people who've passed away in this month, right? And so by thinking about them, we can think about, wow, it's because of them that I'm here. Even for me, I'm not related to anybody in that book. It's because of them that I'm here. If it wasn't for them, there'd be no temple. If it wasn't for them, I couldn't be a minister here. Right? Because of them, I'm here. Wow, it's not just my relatives. It's all these people, all these causes and conditions. So once again, awareness, right? This awareness of that. I don't think about it every waking moment. May Shotsky people there, because of them I'm here. It's like not that, it doesn't have to be like that. And yet, in this moment, yeah, wow, May Shotsky people, thank you. Right? So that's where I like the kind of interplay between the awareness and the appreciation. Right? Sometimes we go, oh, gratitude. But I like, because Buddhism, ultimately, the awareness I'm talking about is wisdom. Buddha's wisdom. Right? Buddha sees things as they truly are. It's actually all one. We're not separate. We're all one. We're all part of this light just coursing through everything. But also that we're all connected. If we bring down from that level maybe, and we can see this connectedness, like me with the Mei Shotsky people. So that awareness, right? This awareness of how things really are brings about this appreciation, right? This deep appreciation, which then affects how I live my life, hopefully, right? That having that awareness, having that appreciation is transformative, right? We can really change your life. And then I think the kindness comes out too, right? So that AKA, awareness, kindness, appreciation, for me as a Buddhist is part of the meaning of life, maybe. The thing is, and I told this to the kids, don't tell anybody, you don't have to be Buddhist to benefit from this, right? Buddhism's amazing. Like all this stuff that Buddhism teaches, a lot of it is just great for just living life. But I think when you really get into it, you realize, oh my gosh, yeah, this is touching me on such a deep level. Maybe I want to be Buddhist. Right? And it's not something that is just a stamp or you have it on a card saying, I'm a card-carrying Buddhist. Right? It's something inside, right? That you realize, whoa, maybe I really am Buddhist. And then even for me though, as a Buddhist, the idea of the Rainbow Bridge really touched me with Kismet. That's a different worldview. It's not that I'm thinking, oh, Kismet's now in the Pure Land. Right? That's why I kind of mentioned the Pure Land Buddhism. I don't think about her that way. I think about her more at the Rainbow Bridge. Right? And that different thought system also influences me, right? Also helps me. And that's, I think another aspect of Buddhism that is not absolutely exclusive. And we can benefit from learning about other systems of thought, other ways of thinking about these things. So I want to really thank you for coming to our service today. For the people online, which one? Hi. Apologies for the technical difficulties we had. You had no idea, huh? There's been all kinds of technical difficulties this morning. But thank you very much, everyone online, and thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Why don't we conclude with Gasho? Living life with awareness, kindness, and appreciation, benefiting from the Buddha's teachings, being transformed to see things a little more as they are. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. Should we have a song? What can we sing though? It has to be easy because we don't have books. Oh, how about happy, happy, happy. Oh, Ondok-san. Yeah, if you know the lyrics to Ondok-san, you can sing along. It's Nyorai Dai Hi no. I'm just kidding. You're not going to be able to memorize it, right? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Okay, thank you. Just a few announcements. Today there is the event on the USS Hornet. This is an event. It's dedicating a new exhibit of Asian Americans in World War II, including the 442nd, but not exclusively. Also, there was, I think, a Chinese regiment, a Filipino regiment. So this is part of Asian American and Pacific Islander Awareness Month. And so that's going to be at 2 o'clock. What I heard is if you want to go, there might be traffic. And so don't plan to get there at 2. Try to get there earlier. Now, if you want, I'm going to leave around 12:30 to get there about 1 to try and set up. So if you want to go with me then, we can go with different cars and stuff, but we can get in for free. So if you want to go, either stick around until then and you can come to the Shotsuki service, or you can come back if you want around 12:15, 12:30, and we can head over. It should be nice. And we have our Shotsuki service at 11:30 after this, and there is osaisen dish out in the hallway if you want to make a little donation. And we'll be having these kind of hybrid services for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then later on May 22nd, which is actually 3 weekends from now, we'll do our Gotane service outdoors with the Fujimatsuri Gotane service, and we should be having the infant presentation along with that. And Dharma School will have a special guest, this drummer, which we're really excited about. So there will be live music too. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. Let's conclude our service. Gassho one more time. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, namanda, namanda. Okay. Thank you. Bye.